I was always a weird kid, and everyone called senses. From the way that I talk, dress, do things, wear those big headphones so I won't die on an unexpected sound. I don't think I will surprise anyone by saying I'm autistic. I mean, there's chance you're too because you came here from my more topical videos, or maybe like my animated series Silly Gang, which I appreciate. But even if you don't know my other stuff, chances still aren't low in general population, and maybe you found something in my title and or thumbnail. Anyway, I have several things that I'm not diagnosed officially with, but like experts and disability comrades see. I'm autistic, semi-verbal, low middle needs kind, dyslexic, dyscalculic, and dysgraphic too. I have minor motor issues, intrusive sounds, also PTSD and depression is here. I've been in therapy for 2 years, and I still have a lot of work to do, and also weird brain work, like things seem to store in my brain not in text format, like the way I understand it. It contributes to me not being able to explain stuff right out of the gate, unless I have script for it. It may be something from above, I don't know. For story matters, autism, PTSD, and depression really. Maybe dyscalculia explains why I suck at math and if I find algebra interesting, but it doesn't explain abuse. I'll get into it. I was weird in the other way I am weird now. As a kid, I was very extroverted and liked to talk to anyone about my stuff. Now I'm just barely exist outside, unless I meet up with someone or buy burgers. I like burgers. I think half of this started when I got to school. I got there in the age of 6, 1 year younger than I usually. Some things were shown. I was very easily to cry. I played with my hands a lot. I took rules or anything literally. Some auditory problems too. Like I asked my teacher something and she responded, but I didn't hear her because of class, which she said, "Are you deaf?" It was sad. In late elementary and middle school, my hatred of interruption was seen too. I was too afraid to ask to go to the bathroom. Also, middle school is where usually puberty starts, including me. And that happened. Boys in class noticed me and... I don't wanna discuss my sexual trauma in detail, but I need y'all to know that sexual education in Russia is solely on parents. It's not allowed in school until the age of 16, which is, a bit late. I got lucky that my parents got me and brother It's Perfectly Normal book. I still got misconception because I was in 2010's Russian internet and I'm not good reader even now. Not only that, but I don't think there even where if someone touches you in a way you don't like, talk to someone you trust, things on TV or anything in school. Anyway, when I tried to tell about the happening to my teacher, I said, I think this guy is sexually frustrated or something. The teacher just said something with meaning of leave me alone. I mean, I know this is weird sounding and stuff. I don't really know how to feel about this. This year, I couldn't sit or stand without incident, and I think if it's my fault for communicating directly. I remember talking with my brother and mom about what to do if that kid would escalate, and I remember thinking of it lightly, like it was normal in a way. I need to quickly add that internet had huge influence on me on this topic. There's something to say about how having no sex ed, which is how it is in Russia, internet safety classes and post-Soviet violence culture in general, but that's for another video, but I would like to keep in mind last thing. I recently talked with my mom about this situation, and my mom said I never mentioned the things they did. I talked about how they were annoying and played stupid sit-on-battle games, joke about abuse in Russian jails. The reason why is, probably, I thought it was normal. The situation was resolved when my parents got in. I stayed in the school for next year and then got into another. I still have some side effects from it, mostly being repulsed by sexual imagery even if it's very tame, even though I'm not sexually repulsed by default. Also, dysphoria feeling, Not in gender way, but I wish I never had a body way. But at this time, I thought it just boys will be boys. New school was okay at first. I was able to find a new friend, but something became off. When other kids stayed to get off uniform, and so did I was picked on by teachers especially. Also, I started to wear my big headphones for a while, and teachers didn't like it too, even if they were on my neck. My mom asked me to not bring them for a week. I agreed. I don't need more arguers and shouting anyway. But on the first day of this on first break, my head exploded with sounds. I never realized how loud school was. I'm not sure how I didn't experience it before, but now I hear kids screaming, footsteps, anything. I got in stairs room, think, and sat there. I was crying, and my head was exploded. Anyway, my family and I decided to try to confirm to teachers' screams to stop those. And they didn't. Also, since near school, despite having a friends, I was invisible. My attempts at talking with others, get attention by driving them were fruitless. That summer my friend went to Dnieper, and when school started in September, she wasn't there. She didn't respond to my messages for a while. Teachers started to pick on my doodling when nothing was to write. And really, this was hell. I was still facing that fucking white shirt and those fucking black jeans, and I was fucking dying of screams. I was in active risk, I'd say. I remember sitting in the bathroom and crying my face off. Break from break, wanting to die already. I lost my friend, but I found a 16-year-old guy in my self-defense circle. I was 13 at the time. I found someone to talk to again, but it won't help me. He was saying stuff like he is gonna die soon, and some other worrying stuff. Also, he sent me a dick pic while I was in school. I was to recognize what was going on, saying I love you and weird suggestive stuff. I want to vomit. We dated for a while, but I wasn't in love. I wanted a friend. I told him to take a break. He agreed, and I blocked him. Just a mess of a bunch. My parents, with my agreement, put me on an individual schedule, so I'm one-on-one with my teachers. Trying to find friends? Nothing. One more try? Nothing. And war. I don't remember 2022 much. The 24th of February, really. Year later, when I was on that schedule, geography teacher started to go off book and ask me about friendly and unfriendly countries, and what I was gonna do if my hypothetical boyfriend went to war. Vomit, vomit, vomit. In 2023, I also graduated. I was like a corpse for a ceremony and saw what came alive when me and my mom came to BK. Also, me and the Raptor started talking. And if it isn't her, I'd probably won't be here, alive or online. So go thank her. Okay, don't do that, but check her Telegram channel out and say something nice. So I graduated, and almost immediately I was hit with information about autism, like month after at max. My family was surprised and unprepared. My brother said, I think you're normal when I said it, but with time they accepted it. Trying to get diagnosed was fruitless. I'm not Asperger type for sure, so yeah. Also, Russia declined ICD-11, and it might affect knowledge about autism. I don't know much. Russian healthcare system is trash and rubbish. Government doesn't treat it right, but out doctors who want to be done with job, and really, my family, for example, doesn't avoid to go polyclinic if needed, but it's better minimize it to not meet rudeness or apathy. And I become this person too. I'm 17, I'm still a kid legally, and recently kid polyclinics in Moscow got a refresh with drawings and creatures and more coffee chairs. And really, and they and polyclinics in general start to freak me out specifically. And general hate for medical s-icide, I think. Just sanitization horror, if I even make sense. So, yeah. Rest is history, gender stuff, not really interesting and on topic. I mean, there was a huge AI chatbot addiction, but it's a topic for its own video. You know, despite seeming somewhat modern, Russian kids media was an authentic diversity. Even Smishariki, a cartoon that talked about a lot of topics, had like one disabled character for one episode, and I like Usharik, he's cute and stuff, but he gives me weird vibes. I know there were made workbooks with Usharik for deaf kids that's starting to use hearing aids, but not sure if any deaf people were involved in making character itself. He's in only one episode in spin-off. His backstory is about troubles growing deaf and everything is resolved once he gets hearing aid. Kinda tokenistic if you ask me. To be honest, even modern Russian kids cartoons can't reach American 90s level of representation. Like, I never saw Tatar-like characters there, even though I knew kids. I even redrew one character from some shit government-funded cartoon to look like people I actually saw. Okay, I remember one, but there's a lot of things about it. I'd say Russia have somewhat of don't tell culture when it comes to difficult topics. It's easier to not get into it than educate and stuff. It might form from rudeness culture in post-Soviet spaces in general. Like, it's not really real than in local small grocery stores or marketplace stands. People can hiss something to your side if they think you're annoying or something. You know, despite not having official diagnosis for my stuff even when I tried, my life became better just because I have friends with similar experience as me. Who knows, diagnosis might put me in danger in this country, because some professionals said about sex indifference or something, and I don't think it's gonna be treated as gender dysphoria usually. I mentioned violence culture in post-Soviet circles before. It's my theory based on what I've seen and heard. I don't wanna spill my family stuff too much, but my family has a history of verbal abuse, and we still kinda struggle with it. There is anger issues, like I said, and I'm easy to frighten by said anger. It's tough to say, Russia is more of a collectivist culture, so comfort of group prioritized more than comfort of individual. After Russo-Japanese War, this country hasn't really had a calm time since, feeling the cycle of abuse that started way in Rus era. I'm not historian and I'm not going to be in this video, so I'm not going to explain it now, so get the basics. I think the best way to depict it is временные трудности, or temporary difficulties. A 2018 movie based off life of business trainer with cerebral palsy, Arkady Zucker, which is very incorrectly told by the way, and basically is about child being abused by his dad, denied accessibility and being emotionally neglected, which is somehow helped him to become able-bodied and very successful, and that was fine for doing that, because that were the times. There was backlash from people with disabilities, but nothing after, as I can remember. Looking at Kinopoisk film page, it has a 6.1 score, which is more than I think is deserved. If you want more info, I will link a bad comedian video about it. It's in Russian, beware. So in short, inspiration abuse porn. How fun! I won't say this is victim blaming directly, so I will stick with abuse apologetics, and it's somewhat common. Both are, to be clear, so the way people in minority can find people like them, if they aren't lucky with their surroundings, is online, and it's good and bad, I think. I already said how much I hate Russian internet. Racism, fatphobia, pretending to be Nazis, all that stuff. And in this atmosphere, seeking people that can understand you, especially in Russian-based sites, is not impossible, but better not to. Really, I think for every Russian minority and people with better things to do, it's better to migrate to the English internet, or at least sites that block in Russia, since nobody gonna police them anyway. But this requires some sort of language skills that government seems to cracking down on. Not gonna surprise if soon English lessons in school gonna be harder to access. For people who can't, I don't know what I can advise, since the place I'm feeling somewhat safe is here. I mean, I wish this video was available in Russian and Russian people could engage with discussion about this, but I'm afraid I can put myself in danger by that. Also, I don't know how to translate disabled without using the word invalid. I hate this word. The biggest impact on me that this non-willing to educate yourself and others had probably the whole PTSD thing. Like, I thought my friends were only lasting 1 to 2 years were my problem. I bought a book about how to make friends. I still have stupid trauma shit about friendship and fear of friends leaving, even though no thanks though. Also, since I have this opportunity, thanks to all my friends for loving me and tolerating my PTSD stuff. Especially you, Zorpo. I promise one day I will be able to watch your vids without meltdowns. Also, looks like I developed workaholism as escapism thing because of health school. And now, when I have no work, I just kinda numb. Also, because of school, I have personal disdain to every educational system. I personally understand that college, university, and school work differently, but I want to do nothing with the system anymore. I want to vomit. I wonder if vomiting is tied to anything. Back to PTSD for a second. There's also who think that I'm not likable at all. Well, not for me to decide. So yeah, school damaged me a lot, and my 2 years of therapy doesn't scratch a half of it for now. I'm still scared to think about future that is not near or vague enough. TSD depression, I just don't know. Not sure if it's tied to trauma or it's just perfectionist Russian culture, but I have some internalized ableism. Quick explanation of my needs: I can function alone usually. I can buy groceries, cook, do some self-care if I feel like it. But in cases of emotional distress, it's better to have someone near me to take care. I hate being dependent on other people because you won't know if you're gonna able to depend on them in future. Okay, there's PTSD in here, sir. I mentioned workaholism, and ableism plays a role too. Like, when I start working on an episode, I wanna finish it as fast as possible, but oops! My brain needs a break or two. I wished I could do like able-bodied people do their 9 to 5, I just can't. A bit of neoliberalism cock is still in my brain. Ew, yucky yuck. Capitalism is bad, but you should work like a cock for it. That's how I sound probably to myself. What the fuck am I saying? Before anything, I want to mention that for the first time in years I can read without pain, and it was an interesting feeling. The reader I use is OnePlus Reader. It's cool, it's free, it has a reading rule. I never knew those existed. Well, of course, you can use regular ones similarly, but I never knew you can do that. A lot of things that help me can boil down to I'm actually allowed to do that. I just never consider it. I think Atal cannot. I need to wrap it. The autocracy creates purposeful unawareness. Unawareness creates incomprehension. Incomprehension creates stereotypes and discrimination. People in this situation can only rely on finding people who understand them. If Drunk wasn't there weren't My Part in Me iceberg, History in Nintendo in Russia, and Silly Gang Show, which you should watch. Pretty please. I work on myself and pay my voice actor for her amazing work. Finding good friends is life-saving, literally. And I hope everyone who is in similar situation as was in school can escape it as soon as possible. Acknowledge that in Russia, I still speak from a privileged point, being in Moscow, Slavic, accepting parents, and they get enough money to offer me and my mom therapy. I just hope people can find friends that can help them, which is priceless. I hope. I really, really hope. TLDW, you need to find your people, preferably not in places where Russian gov can see. You might not consider them besties or even friends. It's not necessary. Those helps a lot. Just people who are nice and understand you. You know that our mutual aid? This is like that. This is how we survive as disabled people, as queer people, as any group. As humans. So, yeah. So, this is it. I record outro separately because it became outdated. Let's sort things quick. First, this isn't first video of its kind. I got a bunch of shit about Nintendo in Russia, so I'm gonna leave few links in the description for you to learn more. Second, thanks to my parents with script. My mom is a psychologist and my dad reads a lot. Also, they both like older than me, so yeah. I have commission page. If you can give me a few dollars or rubles, it will be nice. Just if you're gonna do it through PayPal, it might take a bit of time. I don't know when I release new music. Maybe soon after this week, maybe later. Um, yeah. And also, I'm gonna make series of videos about Russia. This one is part of it. I feel like there's a lot of things Westerns don't know, so I will try to tell everything I can. And also share some culture because I I like sharing. Y'all need to know this one. Winter Tractor recently had an amazing outing. We got into flea market and bought some real old Japanese stuff. I bought some. I bought it. She bought German. And we went to animation museum run by people in industry and talked to cinema historians that knows people in Cannes Festival. And we got free vodka at vodka museum. And also, I lost my dumb phone for a minute, but everything is okay. Malkovs found it and gave me back. Here. And I guess this there really proves that your people are an important thing. And not only that drunk is my friend, but having an example of one person being nice so you can help you with others and open up to others. Am I making sense? I'm not sure. Just know there will be video about animation. So, yeah. Thank you, have a nice day, and separate people from the government. Bye bye.
Lagzuje